Welcome, welcome. This is the Mike Hill Show with West Coast Preps. We are live from the house. We're going to get it in. I always tell y'all, send me some gear. I will rock the gear no matter what it is. If you want to send me your school gear, I will rock any school gear that y'all got, any team that y'all got. I'm going to show love, man. There ain't no hate in my system. I'm going to always show love to whoever needs love. You feel me? So this shirt came all the way from Texas, deep South Texas. This is the Twins Passing Academy. And these are my guys, man. Sometimes you connect with some coaches via Twitter and you just turn into good friends, man. So me and the Twins have been locked in. The McHugh twins out of deep South Texas, almost Mexico, man. They deep down there in Corpus Christi and Ingleside, Texas. So one of the twins is Matt, one of the twins is Dave. They have a passing academy, and they branch out to so many kids. Man, I remember seeing a picture last year, and it was about 90 kids that showed up to the passing camp, and I'm going out there next year to help coaching a camp. Those dudes do a great job promoting their kids, the college coaches, staying connected. We got Matt. Matt's the OC at Miller High School, and that's in Corpus Christi. As you know, I know a little bit about Corpus Christi. I did play indoor football, arena football for Laredo Rattlesnakes, and we did play Corpus Christi. They got an indoor program out there, so I had a little visit out to Corpus Christi. And then my man Dave is at Ingleside High School, and he does a great job with recruiting. He actually taught me a lot of things about recruiting as far as getting a Google Doc, like clean and concise and a way to promote your players. He is the OC at Ingleside High School, just moved over to Ingleside out there. And then I'm gonna just give you their program Twitter. It's at Passing Twins, PASSING Twins on the Twitter. Check them out, man. They are very connected in Texas. They do great things. So shout out to the Twins Passing Academy. They are there. You feel me? This is the shirt. So, hey, send the gear over. I'm rocking, man. Last week we had dome hats. The low man wins hat, and I rocked that to the game, early to the game yesterday, and I'll talk about the game a little bit in a minute. And I'm gonna keep rocking the gear, man, no doubt, and keep showing love. So let's just hop into it. We'll hop into the as we always do, the top 25 for West Coast Prep. We'll dabble into that top three. The top three was, the number one seed was Sarah High School. They took on the undefeated Gritty Monarchs. They traveled down to San Mateo. Both undefeated teams, and it looks like Sarah took care of business. Sarah handled their business. Sarah is, I'm not gonna not say it. Sarah is the top team in NorCal, and I highly feel like they will represent NorCal in the state championship versus even Bosco, Modern Day, or if somebody surprises one of them, but I doubt it. But yeah, they'll represent our NorCal team. So shout out to Sarah doing the do. Looks like De La had a bye week, and then McClymonds and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the number 3 team. McClymonds and Pittsburgh had a showdown of the top dogs that took place in Pittsburgh, California. And I was supposed to be at this game, but our games got switched around, and we had a game Friday night. But McClymonds and Pittsburgh looked like a game you need to be at. It was plenty of college athletes on display, man, and they kind of showed out. And Pittsburgh topped McClymonds in that game, but Jaden Rashada is committed to Miami, and he went absolutely bananas. And then just looking at the highlights, I'm sitting at the house on Friday night, can't sleep on, before game day. So I'm up all night and I'm watching the West Coast Preps feed. I'm watching Ethan Castle. I'm watching the San Jose Mercury. I'm watching Mitch Stevens from from Sportsbook Live, who used to be with Max Preps. I'm watching all 8 feeds just to get the lowdown on what's going on in Bay Area sports. And then Jaden balled out, and then Kai Taylor went crazy. You know what I mean? He had 2 touchdowns, and he did what Kai does, man. Like the Nevada commit did his thing. And then on McClymon's side, the Jet, you know, as you guys know, I had the Jet on the show a few weeks ago. Great kid. I really enjoyed talking to him, man. Just a stand-up guy, but a stand-up kid for sure. The Jet went crazy. He rushed for over 150 yards against Pittsburgh, and that's tough to do. But Pittsburgh did come out on top. So our top 3, I'm pretty sure the top 3 are going to remain the same. Like, shouldn't be too many changes in that. And we'll revisit the top 25 a little later in this podcast. But let's move on. We'll switch the format just a little bit. We'll circle back to the top 25. Let's look at some big games. So Branham was undefeated. Branham played Lincoln of San Jose, I believe. I'll double check. Is Lincoln or Leland? But they 2 undefeated teams went out there to battle, and my guys finally lost, man. Sometimes, you know, you win a lot of games and then you lose one, but losses can be good or bad, right? Sometimes losses get you back refocused, and so Brandon will have 1 loss in their column. But I think and I know those dudes will be well coached, well prepared, and they'll be ready for the playoffs. So check Brandon out just in a little bit in Akalani's. You know, my guy, Coach Jesse Stewart, man, that's one of my good coaching friends. He is the co-OC at Akalani's, and they stayed undefeated. They beat the hell out of a team out of Oakland. So shout out to Akalani's. And then let's go all the way up north to St. Patrick, St. Vincent, and they win again. They tend to just win a lot of games, man. I don't know what they do over there. If they just really love football, they got the kids locked in. But shout out to Trent and the boys over there and Paul. They got those kids locked in. They also win again, and I believe they're undefeated. So looking at the games of the week, from the prior week, I had Lincoln versus Bow in the Battle of San Francisco, and 2 teams that can really represent their programs in the Turkey Day, which is coming up in November, and that's the San Francisco Championship. Also takes place on Thanksgiving, which is a big time game, man. And I'm gonna try to get out to that game for sure this year. So Lincoln and Bow, and it looks like Lincoln took care of business. It was 21-7 versus Bow. So the Lincoln football program beats the Balboa program, and they may revisit later in the playoffs or even in Turkey Day. So let's dribble down to or let's roll down. It's not basketball, but let's roll down to the next game of the week. We had Antioch versus Deer Valley, and they just changed the name of their championship game, or, you know, their rival game. But Antioch didn't come to play. They are big time program. They'll be in the NCS playoffs. You can, you know, count my vote on them to be in the NCS playoffs. And they rolled over Deer Valley. Deer Valley has great coaches, man. They just hired some new coaches, and they'll be a program to kind of remember in the future, and maybe early stages in their program development. But don't count them out. Deer Valley versus Antioch in the Battle of Antioch, and then. We look at it, Wilcox, man. Wilcox out of Santa Clara, man. Them boys play some football down there. They are still undefeated. They're getting it in, man. So Wilcox is undefeated. And then Bellarmine travels down to San Francisco, travels down to the city. And they beat Reardon 3-0. And it was a low-scoring game, 3-0 in a hard-fought battle. It looks like Bellarmine's starting running back, Ben, he got hurt early in the game, so maybe that changed, you know, momentum or whatever it may be. But Bellarmine wins the WCAL, and, you know, if you look back 4 or 5 episodes ago, Bellarmine was 0-2. They went out, they played Menlo Atherton, they played McClymonds, and then I told you, don't write them off, man. Don't write them off of 2 wins off of great quality programs, and they're back and they get their WCL win, and I think they're 2-0 in WCL. That puts them in the upper tier, and they're gonna be in the playoffs. So if you ever want to quote me on something, I don't never pick who's gonna win a game, but I got a pretty good understanding of how things play out in this high school football realm, at least in the Bay Area. So shout out to Bellarmine for getting that win. And real quick, man, let's just talk about Menlo. We went out to Amador Valley out in Pleasanton, and we came up short. The score was 14-6. And if anybody was there at that game, I know, coaches know, fans know, it was a great atmosphere. It was a lot of people out in the stands. Amador had a great crowd. Our Menlo crowd followed. Our student section followed. So shout out to them. It's some young girls on the Menlo student section that take care of my daughter. She's out on the sidelines going bananas with them, and it's just a fun atmosphere, man. So Amador did beat us 14-6. We went neck and neck for 4 quarters. Like, it was no give up on either side, and then Amador came on top. But I just want to give a shout out to some players and some stout players from Amador Valley, man. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, but Jake Rothenstein is the tight end, number 88, that plays for Amador Valley, and that kid was bigger in person. Like, you see roster sizes 6'6" and 245, 250, and then you like, hey, BS. And then you see him in person, I'm like, God dang, like, that kid is big. So shout out to Jake, man. He played a ton of snaps at DN and also at tight end. Then we had Brady Nazer. He was the other side DN, number 8, and he was just a grown man. He was bigger than me, and I'm a grown man. You hear me? So he was a big-time player over there, and he's going to Colorado. And they just go hard, full snaps. And then the linebacker who made a lot of plays, who maybe does not get enough recognition, is the linebacker, Miles Jack. Big-time stops on 4th down, man. I think in 3rd and 4th down, that really, like, as the OC, just like, God damn, right? He just stunned us when we thought he should be blocked, and he went out there and blitzed and, read the guard or whatever his reading his keys. He did that, and he made big-time plays. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we got another Jake. We got Jake Goldsworthy. He was the running back number 1. And as my son said, he was like, Dad, he was big, and he was toting that Brock. You know what I mean? So he kept falling forward. Like, he fought forward a lot of day. Our Menlo D played incredible, and I will never take that away from them. But shout out to Amador. Our offense put up some good numbers too, and we just battled back and forth. But at the end of the day, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. And unfortunately for us, we were on the wrong side of the ball in this game. So we ended up falling short, and 14-6, and we'll get into our league play, and that will start against Aragon. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We'll take a break, and I got a special guest coming for us in just a moment. Hey, welcome back. This is the Mike Hill Show with West Coast Preps. A big-time media sports outlet in the West Coast, but we got a special guest tonight. He from the other side of the country, man. We got Coach Jaren Nickleson. He's the wide receiver coach at University of Sioux Falls. So we got him, and we'll be able to ask him some questions about recruiting, about his coaching career, and just some insight on what college coaches want to look at. So I know that's big for you guys that follow me. Some of y'all consider me a recruiter, but I'm just a coach. But we got the man here. We got a college coach to give his insight on a lot of things. So welcome, my man. I appreciate you coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. So let's just go way back, man. This is maybe like 2 or 3 seasons ago. I hit up Coach Nickleson, trying to just get my players the spotlight. And you were at West Texas or Midwestern? Where were you at?
Midwestern State.
You at Midwestern State, and then I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just hitting coaches, and he was one of the coaches that really just looked out and was cool. And we just start talking, and we start chopping it up 2 years ago. We stayed connected. And then somehow, I mean, circles all fold, and we got into this crazy group chat. And it's about 50 it's about 50 coaches in this group chat that we got. Man, it's college coaches from all levels, D3, D2, high school, D1. You know what I mean? Like, and we all in this group chat, and somehow, some way with our busy schedules, we tend to talk like every day. Like everybody's supporting each other. So, my man, I appreciate you from the beginning. So let me just ask you a few questions. Let's just first talk about the program that you at now. You at Sioux Falls. Talk about Sioux Falls and your experience there and what you got going over there.
Yes, University of Sioux Falls, man. It's a great program in a great city. Part of the reason why I chose this job. We got 300,000 people, got a place to eat, things to do. Both the last two D2 schools I was at before here, I actually played them in the playoffs before. So I was aware of the brand. They have a winning program, winning tradition. Even when they're in NAI school, they got 4 national championships to their name. It's a fully supported program. Even though it's a small school, only about 1,500 kids, the program's fully supported by the community sponsors. So we've got resources here that I haven't seen at my other D2 schools. It's just a really great place to be.
And y'all undefeated, right? Is y'all undefeated?
Yeah, right. We're undefeated right now.
Oh, so, hey, don't try to be all modest, man. You already know me, dog. I talk wild in that group chat. So they undefeated. Let it be known they undefeated. Sioux Falls undefeated in that D2.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna make a push in that D2 playoffs. And real quick, so let's just rewind how you started coaching, playing career. We talked about you played at the University of Texas and moved on to coaching. Just give us a little recap on Coach Nickleson.
Yeah, so I was a walk-on at the University of Texas, 2009, 2013. And after that, I got into sales for a bit. And, I was watching games of football, and I coached like a middle school flag football team. And I was like, I just enjoyed being around the youth and like teaching them and mentoring them. So I was like, man, I want to get back into it. So I tried to go back and volunteer at Texas, but at that time I was there to Mac Brown. And at that time, it was Tom Herman. So like 2 staffs had changed over. So I couldn't even get a volunteer role. But I was willing to. I went back to got in grad school there. So while I was doing that, I went ahead and volunteered at high school. So at the high school, knew somebody at Harding University, which is another D2 that's a top 10 team. They made the playoffs both years I was there and went there. It was a wide receiver job coaching the flex bone. And I was like, do I take this? It's in Arkansas. I've never been to Arkansas. But I took the job and I learned a lot of ball. Learned a lot what it takes to be successful, learned a lot about recruiting. And everything there. After that, after 2 years there, I got a job as a graduate assistant at Midwestern State and was there for a couple of years. We won the conference, but we didn't make the playoffs just due to how some of those rankings shake out. So we had the COVID year. I got there a week later, COVID hit. So didn't have that fall season, played some games in the spring. And then the next fall I was there, we won the conference, but didn't make the playoffs. So that was tough. We were like 8th or 9th in the region, only top 7 teams make it. And then after that, I got interviewed for a job here at Sioux Falls, and I took it, and it's been great so far.
And the rest is history. So just a little background. So I played at Southeastern Oklahoma. So we played in that Lone Star Conference.
Okay.
I believe my year we went out to Hardin, and I got to look back at the stats. I don't know. I think we beat Hardin, and then just playing Midwestern and all those schools in there. But at the time, that was like Abilene, West Tech, Midwest. It was no joke. Like, hey, man, it was beating the shit out of D1 program. So it's big time football down there. So I remember you at West Texas, and I was chatting with you. I'm like, I'm coming out to Texas, and you said, "Hey, coach, I might not be here in a little bit, but I'll let you know." Then you got the job at Sioux Falls, so that's big. Congrats, and you coaching the receivers out there. So just for our West Coast, I don't know if y'all recruit over here. I know recruiting has a lot to do with budgets or whatnot, but. So what's some tips that you got for high school kids when making their highlight at any position?
And it's things that people say all the time, and you got to circle yourself before the clip starts so we can find you, right? Don't have us looking for you. Yeah, no brainer. I know everybody says, but I got to say it myself. That's like my biggest pet peeve is like, I'm just like looking at football tape. What am I doing? Especially linemen. Like you got to make that circle small so we can find you. And then slow-mo and fast forward, like don't need it. We can tell when you speed the tape up. Slow-mo doesn't make it look any cooler. We don't care about the music. I always listen to it on mute. So save your time. And then the next biggest thing I think is tough for kids to understand, but put your best place first. And what that means is not like the game-winning touchdown against your rival. because to us, we don't care or know that it's the game-winning touchdown. Even if you put that in the caption, it doesn't show me how good of a football player or how you translate to us. What you got to do is put the most play that shows your talent. So if you're a quarterback, whether that's a deep, accurate deep ball, or putting in a tight window in the middle of the field, or breaking tackles as a running back, right? Those untouched long runs. Again, I was just a running back coach. Untouched long runs don't do much for me unless you're getting separation. But I want to see you break tackles, make people miss. Wide receiver, I want to see it open deep ball all the time. Those are good. It's good to see you get speed and separation. You do need to have those. But I want to see you catch a hitch route and then take it 80 because you made people miss, or you broke a tackle, or you broke somebody off on a dig route because your route was clean and then you ran away from people. So you want to see a combination of things. Don't just put the same things, or put something that shows your talent or your ability.
No doubt, man. I was just talking to one of my kids that I mentor, and he played DB, but he also played running back, and he had a 75-yard touchdown. I'm like, show your speed. Like, you can't teach speed, man. It's something you can't teach, like playmakers, you can't teach that. So I appreciate that. So I hope these young kids are listening, man. I get all type of film, and then you see like a 1-yard tackle against, like you said, the rival. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? Nobody even knows who your rival is. So scrap that. Put the big plays. So let's just talk about wide receiver play. So you coach on wide receivers. And I love the wide receiver play. So what do you look for in a wide receiver if you were going to offer them at your program?
So first thing, one of the biggest things I look for in tape is contested catches, right? At this level, it's hard to get open all the time. But if you don't get open, or they're playing some type of zone on you, can the quarterback still throw you the ball and you make a play? Right, because a lot of that is hard. We can work on that, and we do work on it here, and we can teach that. But at a certain point, you got to have that in you, that you're going to make contested catches. Also, look at their stride. It's tough to see on film how fast people are because I'm not from this region. It's like down in Texas, I knew who they were playing against. I knew some of the kids, so I could say, okay, I know that kid's fast. I've seen him in person. I could compare the kids, but I'm new to this region, so a lot of it's just kind of looking at stride, how they get in and out of breaks. Are they slipping? Does they chops? Are they off balance when they run? Do they make contested catches? And I'm a little bit different. I do like to see some blocking on there. I want to see if you've got willingness to be tough, physical.
Block, no rock.
Yeah, no doubt, especially here at our program. So you have a willingness to do that. And then, it's almost like running backs. If you got some players who can catch the ball and break tackles and make people miss, that's a second level dynamic ability that is hard to teach. We can work on it, but it's great if you already got that.
For sure. So how important is track times to you compared to like camp times, et cetera? Because, as we all know, people be lying on. I'll run a 4.3. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah,
4.3.
Unfortunately, so my last school coach I was working with, Coach, blank on his name, but he was at Western Michigan. Coach Ashton Akins at Midwestern State. He got me on it. Athletic.net. Man, I'm big on track times because kids don't know what is and isn't a good time, and there's a wider berth on those 100-meter times of what I'm willing to accept. And those law track meets, you can tell if they're an official track meet or not. And so I as a kid, I almost Googled their name, athletic.net. So that's one of the big reasons to run track, just to get some times on you. So I ask kids if they run track. I Google their name, see if the time comes up on athletic.net, that verified 10.9, you can go. So I'll take that over, you tell me you run a 4.3. But again, like you said, coaches can time whatever. Right. Camp times are great too. If I go to a camp or it's a camp that I trust, I'll take that 40-time one in consideration. And again, it matters to a point because at the end of the day, you still got to see people. There's still such thing as game speed and track. So, but it helps if you see a kid's fast and you see a track time to verify it. It's a big check.
Hey, no doubt, man. So, that's some good advice, man. Like, you don't get this. I think a lot of coaches, like, even if we're recruiting, man, like, you never really know what people are looking for. You know what I mean? Like, what matters or what doesn't. But you always said, I remember when I was shooting players, see you like, coach, like, what's his track time? Like, verified times, man. I'm like, he running data, right?
Yeah.
So it always worked out, and that also helped out with our connection. So let's just talk about the culture. What do you bring to Sioux Falls? What you trying to do, and then let's talk about your career goals. Because as I know, coaches want to move up, right? You want to go D2, maybe want to go D1 AA. It's a stepping stone. So let's just talk about yours.
Yeah. So I think the big reason why the coach hired me here, the offensive coordinator, was the guy who's the O-line coach before the former OC moved on to Eastern Washington. And just my experience being at a flex-bone school with guys who don't catch a lot of passes but are willing to be unselfish in the block. For here, we're a run-first team, but I mean, we had a receiver just catch 5 catches for 120 yesterday, saying a tutty. So it's like we're not throwing the ball, but this whole program's identity has been built around the run. And we have a first team all conference back. We have another right back who's second. So we have 2 backs who made all conference teams to kind of set up who we are. All that to say is it's not about necessarily catching the ball, but it's about developing those guys who are going to be tough. If anybody can teach the guys to run around to be tough, there's plenty of YouTube stuff you can find and work on. But about building that relationship and just building characters in those guys to be unselfish. Even when they don't have the ball. We had a touchdown against Concordia St. Paul where someone else caught the ball and a wideout who didn't catch it went down the field and threw a block for him, and that sprung a big play. And those type of things are what win championships, because everybody runs the same pass plays. And the day everybody runs 4 verts, everybody runs Y cross, that type of stuff. But how you execute it's important. And so just bringing that unselfish mentality, loving your brother, and then how that stuff translates off the field. And I try to make sure I keep myself accountable and preaching that. Like, it's not all about football, it's about life. We're teaching life here and making sure we're doing that day in and day out. I have some of my players come in front of the room and talk about things on the field and how they translate to life lessons and speak to their brothers and speak leadership and speak up and not just talk about it, not just be all about ball, but let's be better men. And so my philosophy and my catchphrase is making people better on and off the field.
For sure. And that kind of goes to our group chat, man. We talk about life. We talk about coaching schemes. When something good happens in our group chat, we promote it. We like and retweet, making each other better, though. So no doubt, man. So your life goals and football goals kind of match. So that's awesome, man. So let me ask you one question, and I'm going to let you go, dog. So this was the question of the week. This was by one of the twins. I think this is by Matt McHugh out of deep South Texas.
Yeah, that's where I'm from, man. 361.
There you go. Oh, so you a deep South Texas too, man. Hey, and that's almost in Mexico. Y'all deep down there. So let me ask you this, man. So the question of the week was what causes more fumbles? Being under center or shotgun snaps? What do you think? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but what's your guess on that?
It's a trick question, in my opinion. The answer is whatever you practice the least. Okay. So like at Midwestern, it's like Hardy, we're triple option team, run the center. We were 100% on the center, but when we snapped that ball, it's good. Now, when we went to scout teams and tried to give the defense a look, that ball was going everywhere. Yeah. Now, Midwestern State, we were a shotgun team. Now, when we tried to go under center goal line and stuff like that, it wasn't so clean. Right. So here we've actually been pretty good. We're more balanced. I'm doing a little bit of under and shotgun, but when it's nit gritty, we'll go shotgun because that's what our guys are used to. So whatever you do, you got to invest in it. But I think if you aren't used to doing something, especially like that quarterback center exchange, if you don't work on it,
it's ugly.
Good. So that probably not a satisfactory answer.
You got to pick one. Pick one. Hey, under center or shotgun, where did the most fumbles happen? And there's no right or wrong answer.
I would say under center. Just those guys get nervous trying to get out of there.
I hear you. No doubt. Hey, so I didn't get to it. So I know you are where your feet are, but do you have like goals to like coach Division I, professional sport? Like, what are your long-term goals as a coach?
Yeah. I want to be a national championship winning head coach.
Okay. There you go. Hey, hire me. I'm coming. Hire me.
Hey, always though. Like, I mean, me and Coach Regalado talked about this before because we were at a convention. Someone asked them, like, how do you network? And that question struck with me because at the time, I honestly didn't have a good answer. But you mentioned our chat we're in. It's about just getting to know people and their philosophies and sharing ideas. And it's about not having an agenda, even if it's just making jokes, like getting to know people and who they are. Because part of the good thing about being here, I like the staff and the head coach and how he interacts and keeps us accountable while also creating a good, fun atmosphere to work in and family first atmosphere. And so when it comes to hiring people, it's got to be people that you trust and that you want to work with and stuff like that. So I'm always trying to, get to know people because you never know who's going to get hired, man. Like Coach Aikens always talks about, there's a guy who was somebody's GA, I think when he was at Northwestern State, and then Coach got fired, ended up hiring the guy who he GA'd under with to work under him at some point. And so it's just about treating people right, doing right by the kids, that whoever you're offering scholarships you're working with. Because when you do right, man, good things come back around. So,
No doubt, man. Hey, I think with that chat, somebody gonna make it. We gonna be on it a little bit.
oh, no doubt.
We just gotta wait. Rick Lotto might be one. I mean, he like the upper echelon at Rice right now, but we gonna get our bid, man. So first of all, thank you, bro. I appreciate you always. The small chats, the text, even responding to DMs from the beginning. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, and we'll stay locked in. And you the first college coach on this, so we'll promote it. And I always got some guys. So if you want to come with those, or I'm gonna give them to you, no doubt.
One thing I want to say, Coach, before you go about that response, both recruits. I don't know if Coach listened to this too, but recruits and coaches,
for sure.
Okay, respond to people, man. Like part of the reason why Coach Regalado is where he's at. He was at a small school, but when he hit people up, he always responds to people, no matter where he's been. And you hit me up, you respond to me, I respond. Like kids who respond to other coaches, those are the ones that get offered because we're talking to a bunch of kids, and the ones that show interest, that's who gets the bid. So respond to people, show respect, answer and call, text back.
For sure. Hey, you never know where people go, man. Just like you know what I mean? You traveled on. It's another coach that I'm pretty cool with. He was at a Division III school in New Jersey. Now he's at a D1 school, you know what I mean? A position coach in 1 year. Like you never know what people end up. You can play it more, but you're gonna play yourself. But I just thought about this, man. We'll get a group podcast. We'll get all our boys on from the group chat. I'm gonna have to figure out.
That'll be fun.
I gotta set some ground rules with them guys. You know what I mean?
Got to.
Other heels, even though they ain't my cousin, my other cousins, other heels, I gotta set some ground rule with them, and we'll get it in. But right on, Jaren, Coach Nickleson from Sioux Falls, my guy. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Coach. Thank you so much.
Right on. Welcome back, man. We are back. I just had Coach Jaren Nickleson, a coach that I really admire, a cool coach, and he is at University of Sioux Falls, the wide receiver coach, formerly at Midwestern, formerly played at University of Texas. And in a group chat, it's about 50 high school, college coaches in a group chat that we got, man, and we share a lot of information going back and forth. Coincidentally, there's 3 coaches, last name Hill, in that group chat. It's me and it's a couple of coaches from down south, unrelated, but we all family now. But we literally talk every single day, man. It's some coach chiming in about what happened in their day, what they need help with, schemes, good things, bad things, and it's a great network to have. So what I recommend all coaches, young and old, just have a network of different coaches that you can bounce ideas from, learn from, and respect ultimately, though. So I think in this group chat, just mark my words, man, we got Coach Regalado, who's the director of recruiting at Rice University. We got different college coaches going down. We got college coaches in Texas, all the way in the northern part of the country. And we got high school coaches from down south, and we got me from Cali, baby. I think we got 2 Cali coaches over there in this group chat. So it's always funny. They talk about 6A and this, that, and the other, and we just chime in and they talk about the rain and how hot it is. And I'm sitting in Cali. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we in the 70, 80s, and we sit nice every day. So shout out to Cali, baby. California love. So let's just look at a couple more things that I wanted to chime into. Kind of switch it up. I did not choose a player of the week, only because it was the same players, at least that got nominated, that are always balling. So I want to get some new, fresh blood into this, man. We got our big time D1 recruits all over the Bay Area, and they continue to have stout performances every single week. But I want to see some new blood. I want to see some kids that's putting them stats that don't get a lot of love. And I want to showcase them to these coaches, to different outlets that follow me on the West Coast Preps / Mike Hill show. I want to just get y'all just a little bit more exposure. So there will be no player of the week this week, but I do want to give a shout out to a program, Maru Catholic, out of the South Bay. If you guys follow them on Twitter, let me get their Twitter for you, man. Let me get their Twitter for you real quick. Let me see what their Twitter is. It's Maru Catholic. I just want to get the exact their exact Twitter, but it's Maru Catholic Football. And I'm not sure who exactly is running their page, but they are doing an absolutely awesome job of just showcasing their players of all positions, right? Running backs and quarterbacks, um, linemen, coaches, admin. They doing a great job over there, man. And that's what it's about. I don't know who's behind the scenes on this, but shout out to you slicing these tapes, creating these highlights, and promoting them to different college coaches. So my player of the week is going to be a program of the week for this week, and that's Maru Catholic, man. And their Twitter. So anybody that follow me, their Twitter is at Maru, and that's Moreau football. FOOTBALL on the Twitter. So follow them, man. Check them out, dude. They're doing great things. Their head coach is Coach Keith Miner. He's a great schematic coach, but also a great leader, role model, inspiration to kids. It's bigger than football. I've had the pleasure to meet him one time, but also just watching different clips of him and talking to different coaches that know him is bigger than football. He was at NCNL just last season, and they had a great season. Now he's at Maru Catholic, the smaller private school out in the East Bay. So shout out to Maru Catholic Football. That is my program of the week, man. So y'all doing great things. So we'll fast forward. I want to get to the question of the week. And let me look at the poll here. The question of the week was brought to you by one of the coaches that that put together this great Twins Passing Academy. Twins. I couldn't tell them apart for a minute, but now I think I got a little bit, and it takes a lot. Look at they kids and wives, and they put it all together. But I got it, and so shout out to the Twins. But this is Coach Matt. His question was, he asked me just the other week, like, what do you think causes more fumbles? And that's being under center, so the center quarterback exchange, center quarterback to running back, or is it shotgun snaps from delivery from center to quarterback to running back? So, and I'm looking at the poll, and it looks like my man, Coach Nickleson, said it'd be under center was his vote. And the poll will go on, but it's close to 100 votes on this. It got 3 hours left, so we'll top around 125, give or take, that people chimed in on this. And it's shotgun snaps has 52% of the votes versus being under center has 48% of the votes. So that's way too close, right? So we'll see in the next 3 hours. And I'm a retweet this to get a few more votes. And we'll see what really causes the most fumbles. But I gotta think, man, nowadays in the type of football that we play, people do play under center a lot more, but it's just not as often. Yeah, I will say that. So I would have to say being under center causes more fumbles. That's my opinion. And there's no right or wrong answer. Maybe somebody keeps track of these stats, but I think it's under center. But there's fumbles all over the place. And crazy things happen, man. They can snap off the, center's butt, the quarterback, and misread the snap, the running back, and not have the right arm up. It's all kind of stuff that can take place. But just in the question of the week for the Mike Hill Show, it was 52% of the snaps are from 52% of the fumbles, are from being in the shotgun, while 48% are being under center, man. So we will always have questions. If you guys have question ideas for me, send it over. I want to hear what y'all got to say. I want to, and just get people to chime in on it. So as we move forward, I have one more thing I wanted to touch on. I had a parent of a big time player. I won't put his name out there, but a big time, not like I say jabroni all the time, like The Rock, not like a jabroni, but a big time. I think he's like a 4-star player and committed to a big time program. He asked me a question. What do you think about players who are at programs with big time players in front of them? Say, for example, if you play, this is an example, that's not the question that he asked. If you play offensive line and you got 5 Division I offensive linemen in front of you, and you are sitting back and not getting a lot of snaps, is it better off that you go to a different school, right? And be able to showcase your talent and put it on film, or should you just wait your turn and when your turn comes, showcase your talent? So that's a loaded question. I think I will I'm gonna actually, swing that question also to next week. And I want to hear different people's opinion on it. What should you do? But my response to this parent was, it depends what type of program you're at. If you're at a big time program, and there's some big time programs here in Northern California, where you can sit behind a player and wait your turn, and then still get the exposure and film that you need to be a big time player. You know what I mean? And get their, get the recruiting. I mean, get the recruitment and get the offers that you need. They're going to stop at all the coaches are going to stop at Pittsburgh. The coaches are going to stop at Folsom, right? The coaches are going to stop at Sarah, right? The coaches are going to stop at St. Francis. And there's a few more in between. I'm just naming a few. And Menlo Atherton, they're going to stop there. And there's also some programs, if you're not in that realm, they may not stop and you might not be known. So I'm not telling anybody to transfer. There's no method to recruiting. I think it has to do with a lot of luck, a lot of blessings coming your way, and perfect timing. So there's no right or wrong answer to it. But when you do get on the field, you give it your all. Every play is could be a highlight play. You know what I mean? So just take advantage of that play. Put your finger in dirt if you're a lineman, get your right stance, block, catch the ball for your receiver, run that route, running backs, block and pass protection, finish the run. It's all type of things that you can do. It's no right or wrong answer, but I'll ask some other people about that. But I think, man, when your time comes, no matter where you are at, make sure you're ready to go. The good quote, and maybe the best quote, is stay ready so you don't got to get ready, right? Like, you don't got to come in the game and be nervous. Like, I'm always prepared. I'm ready to go. When the coach calls my name, I'm locked in and I'm getting it in. So we'll come back to that one, and we'll see what other people got to say. So that is an unknown question. Recruitment is tough. Recruitment is about connections, as you can see with Coach Nickleson. It's about connections. It's about who you know and the relationship that you have with those coaches, the culture of your program, the winning tradition of your program. It's all kind of different factors. People think it's like, oh man, I just scored 5 touchdowns, I deserve a Division I offer. But like, no, it's not that simple, man. What team are you playing? What league do you play in? How did you run that route? You know what I mean? Like, it's so many different factors to recruitment. So I will move on, and I will give you the game of the week. And we're keeping it with the home team. It's going to be the Menlo Knights. We take on the Aragon Dons. And that is the homecoming game. That's also our senior day. And that'll take place on this upcoming Saturday. To be, I want to say, at 2:00 at the house in Atherton, California. That's going to be a big time game. It's going to be packed. This will be my first homecoming with Menlo, and I heard they get a good crowd out there. And San Mateo is not too far away from us, so I'm sure that the Aragon, I believe they the Dons, will bring over a good crowd. So the game of the week is the homecoming game for Menlo. It's showtime. It's league play. We played our out of conference. We are 3-2. We lost 2 games to some East Bay teams. We beat 3 teams within our CCS section. So it's going down. Like, we ain't about to curl up. It's about to go down. So I plan to win. I never plan to lose. So come out if you got time Saturday, 2:00, Cartan Field. And Atherton, the Menlo Knights will take on the Aragon Dons, and that's the game of the week. And you better believe I'm gonna have some kids that ball out. Even if we're on the other side of the sticks, I have somebody from that game come on the show. So I want to thank you guys for First West Coast Preps. Thank y'all for giving me this platform to just speak my mind and talk about college football. High school football, college recruiting, how you get to that level, my experience, my day, whatever I feel like talking about. It's a free world. So shout out to West Coast Preps for giving me this. I appreciate y'all every Sunday for chiming in. If you don't already, subscribe to the podcast. I know we on Apple Podcasts. We're on Podcast Bean. We're on YouTube. If you want to see the video portion of it, just subscribe to it. Like the video. Those go a long way, man. Like, I don't know what this podcast realm will take me to, but I appreciate the support. So like, retweet, follow, hit me up, holla at me. It's all good. But thank you. Another Sunday, another blessed Sunday. We are live. We are healthy. We are free. This is the Mike Hill Podcast Show with West Coast Preps.